This is a very hot topic currently, the discussion on racism and discrimination. I've been thinking a little bit, and I may have a sort of solution that could help reduce discrimination in our society, or like within humanity in general. I'm not saying this is the right solution and there's no other way. It's just an idea, let's say, I have. So if you'd like to understand how one can reduce racism and discrimination in society, a potential solution, then listen to this whole video. So one of the key roots of racism and discrimination is actually a lack of empathy. It's this sort of inability to feel and comprehend what another person feels, what emotions they have, and what situations they are placed in. It's the inability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I think it is the reason, this is the reason why people are like actively racist or behave so, is because they just can't empathize well. And of course, in reality and sort of part of our nature, obviously, you know, between individuals, we are very separate human beings, and there is this wall between each other that prevents you from understanding and feeling what the other person feels with 100% accuracy. You cannot fully comprehend what somebody else feels. It's just part of our sort of separated nature between any individual across the entire globe. And I think this doesn't just go for discrimination, but a lack of empathy is also the cause of, or a cause of, any behavioral manifestation of selfishness. Is just focusing on yourself, or being egocentric and thinking you're the protagonist of this movie and everybody else is a side character. So I think the key here is to teach people to empathize more, and it's increasing the ability to accurately feel what someone else feels. Now, I would like to think of it like this. We sort of have a scale of, let's say, 0 to 100, and 0 is no empathy, and 100 is 100% accurate empathy. And that is sort of potentially, I think, hypothetically unattainable because of our nature, but you can sort of, your empathy levels can range between the scale of 0 to 100. And the goal here is to develop our empathy to get closer to 100, because right now it's too low, I think. Yeah. So how do you practice or try and develop empathy? I think it really sort of the cornerstone of it, or the foundation of it, is intention. You need to intend to develop your empathy. It won't come by accident, I think. So if you don't know, well, let's say it like this. I think a good way to practice this is just to sit down, do nothing else, don't go on your phone, nothing. Sit down and think about other people, how they probably feel. Try and sort of hypothesize and try to sort of put yourself in their shoes. So let's say somebody randomly, let's say a friend of yours, you know, their father just died of cancer, let's say. Then try and imagine yourself in their situation and walking around in their body and thinking about how your father has now disappeared and you will never see your father again. This tragic occurrence happened to yourself. It's you. And this is also very connected to what this technique about also to develop empathy is to read about history. And when you read it as if it's about yourself. And then you truly understand the horrors of humanity which have occurred, and that we need to prevent them by all means. So intentionally sit down and think. It needs brain energy. Like it needs to occupy you, empathizing, or else it won't really change you. You need to really give it energy. And you may struggle with this. This may be difficult at first, and I think it can help if you struggle with it. You can literally ask somebody in a conversation how they feel, and try to be very conscious of their response. So absorb their facial expressions, their body language, and their emotions, and their words, to really try and interpret how they feel as accurate as possible. So you sort of find your empathy falling quite close to 100. So really sort of accurately and representatively interpret how they feel. I think that can help you with trying to develop your empathy levels. So it really requires intention and brain energy. And this is also very much connected with gratitude, because when you empathize with someone else, what you're doing is you are acknowledging how they feel, which is likely different to how you feel. And if you fully empathize with them, you know the terrible value, for example, of the situation they are in, and you are not in that situation. And this difference, this differential, can make you grateful, because you know, wow, life can really be tough as I see it with my friend who's currently suffering, and I don't have that. Thank you. You know, I feel blessed that I'm not feeling that I'm not in that situation. And you're grateful, and it makes you, it gives you positive emotions, I think, and that is also very nice and useful. So in conclusion, I think one can reduce discrimination and suffering in life by empathizing more, and you can do that by intentionally putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and thinking about it, trying to absorb it. And I think the outcome of this is that people will be more selfless, because you sort of merge with other people. Then you become one. You are not separated. You are actually one. You are one organism, also with nature, and then you are more respectful, and you are more, respectful the way you behave and think and communicate with others. And that's, I think, what humanity needs right now. So I hope maybe this gave you some inspiration. I don't know if it's the right solution or not, but I think it might be useful to reduce racism and discrimination in our societies. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. All right, thank you for listening.